The courtroom was packed long before the hearing began. Reporters filled the back rows. Spectators whispered among themselves. Everyone had come to watch the trial of Angela Brooks, a hard-working single mother accused of embezzling money from the technology company where she worked. The evidence looked overwhelming. Financial transfers, access logs, electronic records. To most people, the case was already over. Angela sat quietly at the defense table. Her hands trembled. If convicted, she could spend years in prison. Beside her sat her 16-year-old son, Elijah. Most people barely noticed him. He wore a simple hoodie and carried a worn notebook. The attorneys certainly didn't pay attention to him. Neither did the judge. As the prosecutor presented the evidence, Elijah listened carefully. Very carefully. Every number, every document, every timestamp. Hours passed. The prosecutor confidently explained how Angela had supposedly transferred thousands of dollars into hidden accounts. The judge nodded. The jury seemed convinced. Then something unexpected happened. Elijah raised his hand. The courtroom burst into laughter. The judge frowned. This is not a classroom. More laughter followed. The prosecutor smirked. Your Honor, I don't believe the defendant's son is qualified to participate. Several spectators chuckled. Elijah lowered his hand, but his mother looked worried. The judge smiled. Young man, this is a court of law. More laughter echoed through the room. Elijah remained calm. Then he quietly said something. I think the evidence is wrong. The courtroom laughed again. The prosecutor shook his head. And what exactly makes you think that? Elijah stood. His voice never wavered. The transaction logs. The room grew quieter. The prosecutor folded his arms. What about them? Elijah opened his notebook. For the next several minutes, he explained something nobody expected. The timestamps, the access records, the system architecture, the transfer sequence. He pointed out inconsistencies hidden inside the data, details nobody had noticed, or perhaps nobody wanted to notice. The courtroom slowly became silent. The prosecutor's smile disappeared. The judge leaned forward. Elijah continued. The transfers couldn't have been made from my mother's account. The prosecutor frowned. Why not? Elijah answered immediately. Because the login records show the activity occurred before the system generated the authentication token. Silence. The courtroom stared. Even the judge looked confused. Elijah walked to a monitor. With permission from Angela's attorney, he displayed the records. Then he showed the timeline. One event happened before another event that was required to happen first. Impossible. The room became quiet. The prosecutor looked nervous. Elijah wasn't finished. He continued analyzing the records. One mistake led to another. Another led to another. Soon an entirely different picture emerged. The evidence had been altered. Someone had manipulated the system. The jury watched in disbelief. The judge's expression changed. For the first time all day, she looked concerned. Then Elijah uncovered something nobody expected. A hidden administrator account. The real source of the transactions. The room erupted. The prosecutor's face turned pale. Several company executives sitting in the gallery suddenly looked uncomfortable. The judge immediately ordered a recess. During the break, forensic specialists reviewed Elijah's findings. An hour later, court resumed. The atmosphere was completely different. The experts confirmed everything. Every single detail. The evidence against Angela Brooks had been fabricated. The real culprit was a senior company executive who had manipulated the records and blamed Angela to cover his own theft. Gasps filled the courtroom. Angela began to cry. The jury looked stunned. The prosecutor sat silently. Then the judge addressed Elijah. How old are you? 16. The courtroom fell silent. The judge shook her head. You discovered in one afternoon what experienced investigators missed for months. Elijah smiled slightly. I just followed the data. The judge looked toward Angela. All charges are dismissed. The room erupted in applause. Angela hugged her son tightly. Tears streamed down her face. The reporters rushed forward. Everyone wanted to know how a teenager had solved a case that professionals failed to understand. As people left the courtroom, many remembered the moment they had laughed when Elijah raised his hand. Now nobody was laughing. Because the young man they had mocked had uncovered the truth, exposed the real criminal, and saved his mother from prison.